Hello students and welcome to the e-learning program initiated by Shri Gyanmanjari Vidyapith for the students of Standard 10, in which we are learning the subject of English. Students, from the previous lecture we started with one of the new chapter of Footprints Without Feet, which is the supplementary reader, right? So let us see what we have learned in the previous lecture, then we'll go ahead with today's lecture. We started with one of the chapter number 6, taken from Footprints Without Feet. Footprints Without Feet is a supplementary reader. Name of the chapter is Making of a Scientist. We have discussed earlier also that how the child inculcates good habits that are taught in the childhood, the scientific attitude, the scientific approach is set sparked right from the childhood, and the child learns lots of things. So we see that if a proper path is given right from the childhood by the parents or by the teachers, then we certainly see a bright future of the child. So Making of a Scientist, written by Robert W. Peterson. Richard H. Bride is the scientist we are talking about. Even before he went to school, he was all alone with his mother, nobody of his age in his surroundings to play with. So it became the complete duty of the mother to see that the child is not only engaged for the whole day, but he loves it, he enjoys it, and at the same time lots of learning come with the activities that he is doing. First of all, when a child does not have somebody to play with his own age, children should go outside and play. But since he was so young that he is still not going to the school below 5 years of age, so it becomes the duty of the mother to take care of him, father being out for duty purpose, whatever. And the mother thoughts of thought of lots of ways in which to keep the child engaged. One of the things that she taught the child was to start taking interest in collection of things. Now, whether that is pebbles, stones, whether that is a piece of rock, whether that is philately, that is coin collection, and still better, collecting uh, the butterflies. Now, all of this collection, it is not only about going outside and collecting things. For example, the mother took the child on lots of excursion outside. Yes, lots of field trips outside where the boy gets a chance to collect all these things. Somewhere, sometimes to a riverbed, sometimes to a lakeside, uh, into the nearby forest, etc. So that the child is with the nature. He collects things from the nature, and then there is lots of more work that he has to do when he comes home after he has collected those things. But because he has to sort out those things, separate those things according to the different categories as taught by the mother, because he is too young to sort out those things on his own. So the mother is always a helping hand, and he learns a lot from the mother. Suppose different types of rocks, so you come to know the bedrock, if the rock is brown or black or something. Now butterflies, variety of butterflies are found, but some butterflies belong to a particular species, some belong to a subspecies of that subspecies, of that original species, right? So in this way sorting work has to be done. Then they have to go on the board, right? For example, coins, etc. You got to make a proper collection of it, and then it should be in a presentable manner. Collection of coins of different countries, denomination, years, right? The more you go in the past, the more value of the coin. The child is yet to understand that, but then he should be able to sort out things, uh, display it properly. So the mother helps out as much as possible when the child is still young, that we have seen in the previous lecture. Now the child starts going to the school. So first year, that is the first year in the school, that is the first standard for us, first grade for there, second grade, second standard, same thing. And somewhere in between, the child lost his father. So now whole of the life revolves around the mother. And the mother, apart from the school educational curriculum, studies, etc., lots of hobbies are inculcated. The studies, okay, one thing. Hobbies, another thing, which are to be pursued at home. Lots of interest is created. And because of that, the child starts having a scientific attitude which he does not live throughout the life. So, in this chapter, we are mainly focusing on the collection work that he has started, and the most interesting one is the butterflies. He collected all the 25 different types of species found in and around his town. That means now his work is complete because only those 25 are available in and around his town, and he has collected all them and put it on the board for collection purpose, describing the butterfly, what are the different details of it, everything he has noted, displayed properly. But now the work seems to be over. All of a sudden, the mother gives her child a gift of a book on monarch butterflies, and it's noted over there that monarchs are not found at one place, they migrate. So when they migrate, they must be going to somewhere. So a whole new path opens up for the little child, that apart from here, where are the monarchs found and why do they migrate? So that is where we, that probably would have been the end of my collection of my research work, because 25 are available and I have all of them listed, displayed, everything. The work is complete. But then my mother got me a children's book called The Travels of Monarch X. That book, which told how monarch butterflies migrate to Central America right from their hometown up till the center of American continent, the North American continent. So far they traveled. Now we know butterflies, their lifespans are quite small, and in that small span, how can they migrate? Why should they migrate? And to it is now known that it is up till Central America. They might be going beyond. So that opened up new venues, new scenes for the small little child. Opened the world of science to the eager young collector. So we go ahead for today's lecture from now. At the end of the book, readers were invited to help study butterfly migration. This is very, very important. Now, you can't chase butterflies. Chasing butterflies, it's a small child's joy for a while. Yes, and then he gets tired. Say half an hour enough for him, running around after the butterflies, trying to catch hold of them. Now, what we see over here, this child, the future scientist that we see as a child, he has been collecting butterflies. But then there was a note at the end of the book that readers are encouraged to do more research and please share the information with us, because the butterflies, for them the season is also quite small, the lifespan is also quite small, life cycle of course is quite small, and in that small life cycle they travel a lot and they are found at various places. So any other scientist, a grown, matured, well educated, well qualified scientist, now it becomes impossible for him to go around all the places at the correct time and find out where they are going. So whoever reads the book finds the butterflies, that is that particular species in their area, then they should catch it and they should uh, inform the scientists, or they should inform the whoever has written the book, so that further information from the readers can be had and it can be known where are the different spots in the country where monarch butterflies migrate to. So they were asked to tag butterflies for research by Dr. Frederick. Dr. Frederick might be the author of the book, and he has asked all his readers to catch hold of the monarch butterflies, tag them. That uh, uh, I have seen it, I have with me. So a tag is, or a small information is passed to Dr. Frederick so that he knows, okay, somebody found a monarch butterfly here also. So he secures that on a map, and now he knows that monarch butterflies, or particularly monarch X, they travel up to this area also. Then somebody, some other reader might acknowledge or tag, and then he comes to know, okay, the map is still going further, and this is how the migration of that particular species can be further advanced. Now, Dr. Frederick Urquhart of the University of Toronto, Canada, he had urged the readers to tag the butterflies and give him the information. Ebright's mother wrote to Dr. Urquhart soon Ebright was attaching light adhesive tags to the wings of the monarchs. Tagging, okay, in other way, suppose we take a bigger animal or a bigger bird, right? So we know lots of migratory birds, they come from Siberia, China, Europe, because winter is quite harsh over there, and they come to spend mild winter in India, right? Now, how do you know where these birds are going back? What is their path? So what happens is you tag it in any way, a metal tag, simply just catch the bird and tie a tag over there and release the bird. Now, wherever that bird is found, the tag is there. Somebody finds the bird, reads it, that if you find the bird, please inform on the following number that you found the bird over here. So the route is marked. That is called tagging, right? So that can also be done, right? So the mother wrote to Dr. Urquhart of the uh, University of Toronto, that is Canada, and Ebright. Now he finds lots of that that particular species of uh, butterflies, that is monarch X. So he tags small tags, because the butterfly is already lightweight and you must have a very small tag over there. Now he tags the butterfly and releases it. Now if that tagged butterfly is found somewhere, even dead, it will have that tag. So whoever finds it knows that falana person is to be informed about that I have found your tag over here. So we can map the route of the Mexican butterfly, monarch butterflies, and we can know which route it is going to, or which path it is following, and till where they migrate in their small life cycle. And also it tracks to the wings of the monarchs. Anyone who found a tagged butterfly was asked to send a tag to Dr. Urquhart. Now, the small boy, his work is to tag the wings of the butterfly, attach a small little note over there, quite light in weight. Whoever finds it, that has to inform Dr. Urquhart, not the little boy, right? Because who is doing the research? Dr. Urquhart is doing the research. So whoever finds the tag butterfly has to inform that your tag butterfly is found over here. So the map can be advanced. The butterfly collecting season around Reading lasted 6 weeks in late summer. Now that is what I'm saying, that these are already cold parts, and each and every month, each and every season is not useful for the butterflies. So their lifespan is quite small, in which they propagate, they migrate, whatever activities they have to do within that 6 weeks. 6 weeks is nothing more than 1.5 month, because 1 month is 4 weeks. So 6 weeks is 1.5 month. So that is the only time in summer. It starts from spring, when the snow melts, when the cold becomes less and the atmosphere becomes a little bit warmer, and then a little bit hotter, not hot as our country, but it gets a little bit warmer in summer. So that is that only 1.5 month where the butterflies, they propagate and increase their number and keep on migrating. So in reading is the place where this little scientist is living. So in Reading, Pennsylvania, you hardly get 6 weeks, that is 1.5 month, where you can do whatever study you want to do upon the butterflies, because butterflies are found in this season only. Apart from that, nothing can be done. So butterfly collecting season around reading lasts only 6 months in late summer. There's a graph also below, we'll see it. If you are going to chase them one by one, you won't catch very many. Yes. So if you try to catch butterflies one by one, it's not going to be an easy task. Yes, because first thing is you have to run behind them, catch them in a net, and then tag them. It becomes an impossible task. Yes, and especially first you have to identify among all these butterflies that are flying all around which one is a monarch, right? And then chase it. Right now, chasing butterflies is not an easy task if you have done it, right? So the next step for Ebright was to raise a flock of butterflies. So Ebright had a very bright idea. Why chase the butterflies? Why not raise it? Raise it means allow the catch the butterflies, allow it to lay their eggs, so that he doesn't have to chase it from butterflies, from the eggs. In due time, when it is the correct season, the eggs are going to hatch. Yes, worms are going to come out and they will turn into butterflies very soon. So he will have butterflies at home rather than chasing one by one. If he has at home, he can easily tag them and allow them to go wherever they are. So he will be able to release lots of butterflies if he starts raising them rather than chasing one by one. That is going to be a very difficult task. And what happens? Yes, that butterfly will live for 24 hours, say more than that a little bit, and will go and die somewhere half a mile across. So somebody is going to find that on a map half a mile is nothing. So better is you raise the butterflies yourself, so you have that whole apparatus, whole of the thing where you can raise the butterflies, allow it to hatch and become butterflies, and you tag them and release them. Then they will have more time to migrate. He would catch a female monarch, take her eggs and raise them in his basement through their life cycle. So very simple: catch a female butterfly, monarch one, and uh, take the eggs, allow it to hatch the eggs, then keep the eggs quite preserved in the basement, and when it is time, the eggs will hatch. So in basement through the life cycle from egg to caterpillar. So that is the process you must have learned in the lower standards, how uh, the butterfly's life cycle is. From eggs, they hatch from the eggs, become caterpillars, and in due time uh, they become a pupa, and from pupa they become butterflies. Then he would tag the butterflies' wings and let them go. For several years, his basement was home to thousands of monarchs in different stages of development. So that is what he did. He kept the eggs, right? Rather than chasing them one by one, he collected in thousands the eggs. Now each and every egg will turn into caterpillar, caterpillar will turn into pupa, pupa into butterfly. When the butterfly is ready, he would tag it and allow it to go wherever, so that his butterflies can be found elsewhere also, more distant places. And for many years, it was the job of this young scientist to keep on collecting the eggs and giving them a proper environment so that the cycles keep on changing, and at the end he would have lots of butterflies, tag them and release them. So this is the different kinds, number and kinds of butterflies collected in 6 weeks. This that is the only week that you can find butterflies, right? So you have to catch lots of monarchs, and in that you have to separate the female ones who will lay eggs. So this is the number that he collected: Gosmarvine, wood nymphs, satyrs, brush-footed, white and sulfurs, monarch, snark. So these are all the different types of butterflies that he caught during the 6 weeks time that he got in reading. Eventually, I began to lose interest in tagging butterflies. It was tedious and there's not much feedback, obviously. This is quite an open country, right, where population is not that much except barring towns and cities. Rest of the rural area is quite open, quite wide, and you don't get much feedback. That means people are not that much interested. If they, even if they find a tagged butterfly, Then also they wouldn't respond. Yes, they wouldn't take care to inform Dr. Urquhart in Canada, right? So after a long time he lost interest because he wasn't getting much feedback. Yes, his monarchs that were released by him, uh, they were found by people, so very few remarks came from people who found the tagged butterfly, or very less information was gathered in that way. So he started losing interest in raising the butterflies and releasing them and waiting for somebody to call and inform about the place where they found the monarchs. In all the time I did it, only two butterflies I had tagged were recaptured, and they were not more than 75 miles from where I lived. So, uh, in all these years, he was still growing from third grade, second grade, third grade to upwards, sixth, seventh. So, for him, it is lot many years. So, in these 3 4 years, he tagged thousands of butterflies and released them. It's quite a tedious job. एक तो butterfly होता छोटा है, right? उसके ऊपर उसके wing को tag करना है. It's very tedious job. Tedious. It takes a lot of hard work. Is attentive work, and it's laboring work that we do. That's called tedious job, right? So he is doing that tedious job, and after releasing thousands of tagged butterflies, what he got is just two of them, and that also within a 75 miles radius from his place, that is reading. So that is not much of what we say feedback. You release thousands of butterflies, only two people cared to get back to you and say your butterfly was found over here, and that also two people responded. So lots of them that die in the open wilderness, and because they are biodegradable, because they are living things, easily squashed and mixed up with the earth, hardly somebody would have found it. So it becomes quite a difficult task to get a proper feedback from people. In all these years, he hardly got two people coming back to him and saying, we found your tag, and it was just within 75 kilometers, right? So that is not much of an advancement. And because the butterfly will fly over some place, say, yeah, now, just like an eagle or some big bird, it wouldn't be able to cross 10 15 kilometers in a day. So wherever it stays in that small life cycle, it will lay hatch eggs over there. It will again take another season for the pupa to become into butterfly. Now that butterfly is not tagged, right? So what we get is almost nothing after such a lot of tedious work. Then in the seventh grade, he got a hint of what real science is when he entered a country science fair. Now, from say grade 2 and 3, we were talking last time. Now he comes to grade 7, that is standard 7. Now, coming to standard 7, he got a real flair, a real taste of what real science is. So, what he did up till now, he thought that is rubbish, right? The real science is something else. What real science is when he entered a country science fair. Now, education everywhere even we keep on doing it. The education system of each and every country is different, and they keep on proceeding with it. Here also, every year we have a science fair in our school also. Same way at the district level, we have a science fair where children of all the schools can come and take part. Then their work is appreciated by giving them proper ranking, and say top 3 or top 5, they go from each and every district to the state. There also they exhibit whatever their research or whatever their science activity is. So it happens elsewhere also. Here we are talking about a small country, say we are talking about reading, where this where this little scientist is living. So in reading, a science fair was held at country level, that is at that same small town level, where different schools from the nearby small villages or towns may have gathered, and the projects must have been displayed over there. That is when he came to know nobody is least bothered about butterflies. Everybody is doing physics and chemistry projects. So, and he lost. That means his project did not earn him any ranking. Yes, nobody is bothered about butterflies and all that. Everybody is doing some science project in some different subjects and topics, say lots of magnets and all the things related to physics, or somebody is doing it experiments with chemicals and gas and all that. That is real science. For that small child, up till now, what he was pursuing, that did not give him any rank in the country fair. So he entered a science fair and lost. That means he did not get any ranking at all. It was really a sad feeling to sit there and not get anything while everybody else had won something. You know how it happens. It's either your table, you're allotted a table number and you display whatever you have on a table, or either it's a stall where you display all the things, right? So you're just sitting over there all the time and you watch other people stalls or tables crowded, and everybody is winning over there, and you just sit over there, nobody comes to you, you don't even win a prize, and nobody is least bothered about what you are doing. So he thinks that what the 7 6 7 years that I have given in all this collection and in all this hard work, it's just a waste. Nobody is even bothered, or nobody likes what I am doing. Ebright said his entry was slides of frog tissues which he had shown under a microscope. You people also have done lots of foolish projects, right? Which you think that you might have displayed a very good intelligent science project. Yes, but what happens at the end? You feel you feel pain. Yes, because either that apparatus did not work, right, or at the end time when you were explaining something, yes, to the judges, that thing didn't work properly or it malfunctioned. Yes, or nobody came to your stall, your whatever your project was, it was completely a waste. So that is exactly what a bride thinks. Then his entry was just a slide of frogs, yes, tissues. Now, um, frog, a dead frog, is usually taken for experiments in science to learn biology, different parts of the body. We start with a frog, right? So the same thing. Each and every living thing has uh, it has a head, it has a brain, it has teeth, tongue, heart, blood vessels, right? So same things are there. So usually take a frog in 10th, 11th and 12th, and those things are explained with the help of practicals. So he had taken some tissues and tried to show the people, uh, that was his project, to show the tissues of the frog under a microscope, and he didn't win anything. He realized that the winners had tried to do real experiments, not simply make a neat display. What he was doing was a very neat display. It takes quite a lot of skill to separate the tissues from the frog and to add some chemicals to dilute it, right? And so that the impurities are separated and you can see the real tissue under a microscope. His work was really tedious, really neat, clean, right? But other students, they were really doing some real experiments. For example, we do physics or chemistry, right? So you know all those things, right? So here is that the winners had tried to do some real experiment, whereas he was just doing a neat display, right? So he didn't win anything. So that is what he understands as a small boy of a 7th standard, that you got to do some real experiments in science. You got to prove that whatever you have done can change the future, or it is helpful in the future. So that is what he learned that day. Already the competitive spirit that drives Richard Abright was appearing. So now he also wants to participate in the world of science where he does some real experiments and he's a winner. So we see a very, very good attitude over here, a very good liking, a real show of positive spirit in that small little boy who was in 7th grade. If everybody is interested in real experiment, I will also do real experiment. He will not get distressed and he will not just throw away things and mera to kuch nahi hoga, right? No, no, he didn't feel any disgust. Instead, opposite, he felt that he should try more in such a direction that what the world wants. Yes, and I can do something for the world of science. I knew that for the next year's fair, I would have to do a real experiment. So this is the good spirit in him, a very good quality of not giving up. The world wants this type of experiment. Okay, this time I didn't know about it. This was my first time, right? I didn't know about it. So I lost. Next year they want an experiment, I will give them an experiment, and my table or my stall will be the most crowded in the entire country fair, and I'm going to bag the first prize. So that is his spirit, and next year he did come up with something. So let's learn. The subject I knew most about was the insect work I had been doing in the past several years. So what is his experiment, or what is his expertise? His expertise or his field work, or the most of the time that he spends after, is insects. What is he best at? He is best at insects, right? So what is the next project that is going to put up? Let's see. So he wrote to Dr. Urquhart for ideas. Now, who is going to be his mentor? Because now mother also had limited knowledge, or perhaps she is right now not able to give any correct path or correct direction, what to do, how to do. So the little boy says, I have been working for Dr. Urquhart for quite a long time. Say 3-4 years he has been working, right, from second grade, third grade to seventh grade. So last 4 years he has been working with Dr. Urquhart and continuously in correspondence with him. So now who is going to be his mentor? Who is going to show him a real path, what to do, how to do? So he writes to Dr. Urquhart. What does he say for ideas? Back came a stack of suggestions. It is as if the mentor, the person over there, he was just waiting for an intelligent student to ask him what I can do. He asks for one idea, he gets a whole box full of stacks. What is a stack? Just layered, lots of shelves. That is a stack. He got a whole stock and stack of ideas, and he worked out on each and ideas supplied by Dr. Urquhart and found something. Those kept Ebright busy all through the high school and led to prize projects in country and international science fairs. He kept working on each and every idea given by Dr. Urquhart, and every time now there is a science fair in his entire high school. Now high school, we understand, after 7 you come to high school. So in each and every high school, his projects won the best prize, first prize, second prize, third prize, whatever. He started winning prizes, and he was forwarded to the next level, and from next level to state level to national level, and from there on to international level. He started winning prizes, ideas given by the mentor, that is Dr. Urquhart. Now what did he do for his 8th grade project? For his 8th grade project, Ebright tried to find the cause of viral disease that kills nearly all monarch caterpillars every few years. He did not leave his expertise in insects. For all these years, right from the childhood, he had been pursuing everything, trying to gather everything, every knowledge, each and every bit and information about insects. He is very good at that. None of the students have that much expertise like him. So he makes his knowledge his tool. He just changes his subject so that people appreciate the topic which he has chosen, right? He only sharpened his knife so that it works. So he didn't leave butterflies. He didn't go for any physics or chemistry projects, some real experiment, boom, bam, yes, and people will gather. No, he just changed the topic. He kept the same thing, other monarch butterflies, but now he is not displaying anything. He is doing his research work, and he showed it to the people that there is some viral diseases that kills all monarch caterpillars. Caterpillars were not able to turn into pupa, and pupa into butterflies. They died because of some viral disease. So we have less butterflies who travel from one place to another, because after every certain years, these caterpillars, they caught some viral disease. They died before turning into caterpillars. Now, that is something the crowd will be expecting the judges, because that is a genuine work of his own research. See the project that he put forward. Yes, nobody knew of that, but he found out because he has been working in it. Something kills it. Now, what is that? It has to be a disease, and the caterpillars are dying in numbers, huge number. That is why we are not having so many monarch butterflies. So, if we can treat it, or if we can do something about it, then those caterpillars will not die because of that viral disease, and we can have lots of monarch X butterflies. Ebright thought that the disease might be carried by a beetle. Now, beetles, also an insect, right? So, who is the carrier of that disease? Somebody has to be, something has to be. So, the beetle is carrying the disease. Now, butterflies, they sit on the flowers, they suck the nectar. Yes, beetles also do the same. Beetles are a bit, not bigger than butterflies, but they have quite a lot of strength, and they can fly with speed, right? So they might be the carrier of this particular disease, and they also might be sitting on the flowers and branches, etc., and the disease would be taken up by the caterpillars who are on the branches that have just hatched from the eggs, right? And caterpillars eating those leaves, etc., right? So the beetle might be the carrier of the disease. That is what he found out. He tried raising caterpillars in presence of beetles. So how did he go on with the research? That I took lots of beetles and I tried to raise them along with the butterflies. Now, the particular eggs that I have of monarchs and beetles are also present over there. Both of them are in the same environment. So, when the eggs hatch and become caterpillars, the caterpillars should die because the beetles are there, who are the carriers of the disease. The caterpillars and the beetles who are in the same environment in the basement of the house where he is breeding those butterflies, then the caterpillars should not become pupa and pupa cannot become butterflies, because pupa just can't exit because the caterpillar died. He kept both of them together. But I went ahead and showed that I had tried the experiment, and this time I won. Right? I showed them that I kept the eggs and the beetle together. Eggs became caterpillar. Some of them died. Some of them became pupa and then turned into butterflies. Right? So I am not exactly able to know whether the beetles carry the disease, but then I am able to prove it with the help of the efforts that I have done, that beetles might be the cause, because now both of them are together. Some died, some lived. So I don't know the exact cause. Beetles might be the carrier of the disease, but then some beetles might not be the carrier, and that is why some caterpillars, they got saved. They didn't catch the disease and turned into pupa, and pupa into beautiful butterflies and fly. Right? So this time I put in the effort and I was able to show that I did some real experiment. I did some real research, and that is why I won. So the next year, his science fair project was testing the theory that viceroy butterflies copy monarchs. Now we know that in 7th grade, that is 7th standard, in his science project where he had tried to show tissues of frogs under microscope, and that was a disaster. He failed. He didn't get any rank, he didn't get any prize. So he observed that rest of them were doing some real projects of their own, right? So it was not just display, it was real project. So he approached Dr. Urquhart to show him some ideas for science fair school students. So from the ideas that he got, tons of ideas that he got from Dr. Urquhart, in the 8th grade, he made a very good project trying to show that he had actually researched, and he was trying to prove that beetles were carriers of disease that the caterpillars, monarch caterpillars, caught, and that is why their number didn't grow, because after every few years they caught the caterpillars caught a disease and died even before they can become a pupa or a butterfly. So he was able to at least show that it was his real project, and he won quite a good rank. So then he understood that you have to do your own research work, you have to do a project of your own rather than just showing a display. So for the next year project, now what will be the topic for the next year, because he has spent 3 4 5 years with the insects, so he's very good at it. He has lots of experience, lots of expertise. He has quite deep knowledge about that compared to a 7th 8th grade student. He has quite a deep knowledge about that. So why not make useful of the knowledge that he already has and make a science project accordingly. So once he came to know that you can make real science projects that can fetch you quite good ranking and prizes, so next year he tried with another fair project, science fair project, and this time the topic was that viceroy butterflies, they were copying the monarch butterflies, right? And it was his theory, and he worked hard after that, and in various ways he tried to prove that the viceroy type of species of butterflies, they copied monarchs. Now there has to be some reason why the butterflies, they are copying some other species of that same butterflies, right? So the theory was that viceroys look like monarchs. The viceroy butterflies, they look like monarch butterflies, a little bit variation here and there, but the birds who are eating the butterflies, for them, they know the difference. What is a monarch butterfly and what is a viceroy butterfly? Viceroy butterflies, monarch butterflies, because monarchs don't taste good to birds. Now, for taste purpose, monarch butterflies aren't good for taste. So, birds, they don't eat monarch butterflies that much. Yes, to satisfy their hunger, okay, birds do eat monarchs, but they don't prefer monarchs that much. If other variation is available, for example, viceroy, which taste quite tasty. Yes, so the birds, usually their prey or their catch is viceroy butterflies. Now, these insects, though, we are in nature and nature has lots of surprises for us. Yes, generation to generation, they come to know that we are being eaten by birds because we are tasty, right? Now, they cannot do anything to what they look like, right? So they try to copy the monarch butterflies, how they fly, how they sit, yeah, so that they can fool the birds and save themselves. So that is a very good science project presented by Ebright. Viceroy butterflies, they look just like the monarch butterflies, and monarchs don't taste good to the birds. Viceroys, on the other hand, do taste good to the birds. So more they look like the monarchs, less is the probability that the birds will eat them. So the less likely they become the birds' dinner. Birds, they don't like monarch butterflies. So if food is available in plenty, if lots of viceroy butterflies are available, so why will they choose monarch butterflies? Because they don't taste good. Now, viceroys have to copy the monarch butterflies so that the birds, they cannot tell the difference between a monarch and a viceroy. So the viceroys butterflies, they, you can see intelligence working even in the butterflies that tend to look like monarch. They try to look like monarch butterflies so that birds will stay away from them. Yes, come मुंह का टेस्ट खराब हो जाए right? So butterflies are also, if we think they are quite innocent, no, they are quite intelligent. And more intelligent is a bride who was able to prove that such a thing exists. Before that, nobody knew, right? So, from the various ideas got from Dr. Urquhart, we can say that Ebright made very variable use of all the ideas that were given by Dr. Urquhart, and he put in his own research, his own knowledge at test, and he found that again he has won even in the next year's science fair. So, students, we stop over here for today. Thank you.